It wasn't the first time someone ignored Lily Donovan, but it was the first time her body hit the cold tile floor, and not a single adult in the hallway moved. Her wheelchair had flipped sideways, her books scattered like broken wings, and the laughter from the boys behind her sharp, loud, entitled cut deeper than any bruise ever could. That's when Imani Rivera stopped walking. Edison High bustled like any other public school in Connecticut on a Tuesday morning. Students filled the corridor lockers slammed shut. Teachers rushed past with lukewarm coffee and eyes fixed on survival. But amid the noise, Lily Donovan moved slowly, her wheels squeaking with each turn as she navigated through a crowd that never really made room. Her silence wasn't chosen. It was inherited. When you're a girl in a wheelchair, people stop seeing you as someone with a story. They just see inconvenience, obstacle, background. Today, though, she tried to hold her chin higher. She had aced her science test, and her mom had finally let her dye the tips of her hair lavender. It was supposed to be a good day, until Brady Larkin smirked. He wasn't just any senior. He was that senior, the son of the principal captain of the lacrosse team and the kind of kid who treated cruelty like a sport. "Move it, speed racer," he barked as Lily rolled down the corridor. Before she could reply, his foot connected with her wheel. Hard. The chair jolted, the metal scraped, and Lily fell sideways, books flying, elbow slamming, breath knocked out of her. People gasped, but no one moved. Phones came out, fingers pointed, some even chuckled, except for one girl. Imani Rivera had been walking 5 paces behind. Backpack slung low earbuds in. The kind of student who slipped under the radar grade's perfect mouth, silent. But when she saw Lily on the floor, something inside her cracked. She pulled her earbuds out, walked straight past Brady, and knelt beside Lily. "You okay?" she whispered gently, lifting the toppled wheelchair. Lily blinked at her, stunned. I think so." "Don't rush," Imani said. Her voice was soft measured, the kind of voice that didn't need volume to command attention. Brady scoffed. "Oh, look, a rescue mission. That's cute." Imani didn't look at him, didn't speak, didn't flinch. And that silence, it stung more than any insult she could have thrown back. Brady stepped forward, towering over her. "You got something to say?" Imani finally stood up, meeting his eyes, not with fire, but with steel. "No," she said, "but you might." "Oh yeah," he laughed, glancing at his friends. "Like what I think you're scared." The hallway went still. Even the lockers seemed to hold their breath. Brady tilted his head. "Of you. You know what you did was wrong." Imani continued, voice calm. "And you're hoping no one makes you answer for it." Brady's nostrils flared. "You want to go? Let's go. After school, gym. 1 round." Whispers erupted all around. "A fight, Imani Rivera. No one's gonna stop this," someone mumbled, half joking. But no one did. Imani glanced back at Lily, who had managed to sit upright now, eyes wide, cheeks red with embarrassment. Then she turned back to Brady. "Fine," Imani said. "After school." And with that she walked off, leaving the hallway buzzing behind her. If you've ever seen injustice unfold in front of you and wondered whether silence can be stronger than shouting, stay with us. This isn't just a school fight. This is a story about choosing courage over comfort. The gym lights flickered, casting pale shadows over the court, like nervous ghosts. By noon, whispers of the fight had already crawled through every hallway, crept into every group chat, and mutated into something bigger than truth. Some said Imani Rivera was an underground MMA prodigy. Others claimed her father was in the military and taught her secret pressure points. A few even bet she'd knock Brady out cold in 10 seconds. Imani didn't say anything. She sat outside the library with her hood-up backpack at her feet, earbuds in, but the music was off. Inside her chest, her heart wasn't racing. It was waiting. "You don't have to do this." The voice came softly beside her. "Lily?" Her wheelchair squeaked slightly as she adjusted. Her lavender-tipped hair framed her face like bruised feathers. "I do," Imani replied, eyes forward. Lily sighed. "But it's not your fight." Imani finally turned to her. Isn't it their eyes locked? And in that silence, something settled. Something that wasn't anger, but wait. Understanding. "I'm tired," Lily said. "Tired of being the joke. Tired of acting like falling doesn't hurt." Imani nodded slowly. "That's why I'm doing it." Lily hesitated, then reached into her side pouch and pulled something out, a pair of hand wraps. Black with faded thread. "They're old," she said shyly. "But they were my brother's. He was a wrestler. Thought maybe you could use them." Imani took them without a word. "Do you know how to fight?" Lily asked, almost afraid to hear the answer. Imani didn't speak right away. Instead, she looked at the wraps, fingers running along the seams. Memories stirred like dust beneath a closed door. "When I was 10, I lived with my uncle for a year," she said quietly. "He didn't talk much, but he had gloves hung on the wall and a punching bag in the garage." Lily leaned in, listening. "He told me, there's power in not reacting. But when you do act, make sure you don't miss. And you never forgot that. Not once." Lily smiled for the first time that day. A small, hesitant smile. "I'm scared," she admitted. "So am I," Imani replied. "But scared people do brave things every day." Just then, a shadow fell across them. It was Mr. Larkin, the principal, Brady's father. He looked down at Imani with tight lips and a narrowed brow. "I heard about your little challenge," he said. "It's not little," Imani said evenly. He ignored the correction. "There won't be any official fight on school grounds. If you engage in any physical altercation, both of you will face suspension." Lily opened her mouth to protest, but Imani raised a hand. "I understand," she said. "But if it's voluntary and no one's hurt, are we still breaking the rules?" He hesitated. "You're playing a dangerous game, Ms. Rivera." Imani looked him dead in the eyes. "No, sir, I'm ending one." He left with a stiff turn of his polished shoes. Lily exhaled. "Wow. Power hates being challenged," Imani murmured, even by silence. The final bell rang. The crowd would be waiting. As Imani stood up, Lily reached for her hand. "Whatever happens," she said, "thank you." Imani looked down at the wraps, now coiled in her palm like quiet promises. "This isn't about winning," she said. "It's about reminding them. Reminding them what Imani met her eyes firm, that we see everything." The locker room smelled like dust and rubber. Long-forgotten sneakers lined the upper shelves. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like a warning that never quite arrived. Imani sat alone on the wooden bench. The black hand wraps lay neatly in front of her, two slender pieces of cloth, carrying the weight of an entire memory. She didn't touch them yet. Instead, she closed her eyes and let herself drift back. The garage had been dimly lit, cluttered with tools, rusted lawnmower parts, and an old Everlast bag hanging from a crooked metal stand. Her uncle didn't say much. He just gestured, hands up. 10-year-old Imani obeyed, mimicking the awkward stance she'd seen in movies. "No," he said calmly. "You don't dance. You listen. To watch your breath, your feet, his weight." He stepped behind her, adjusted her posture, showed her how to center herself not just physically, but mentally. And when she threw her first punch, wild, uncertain, clumsy, he caught it. "Good," he said. "Now again. But this time, aim with your eyes, not your anger." She trained for weeks. No tournaments, no belts, no trophies. Just rhythm, silence, focus. One time she asked why he never raised his voice. Because loud things break, first, he answered. Quiet things bend, but they don't fall. Back in the locker room, Imani unwrapped the cloth and began winding it slowly around her knuckles. Her fingers were steady. Outside, the buzz of students gathering in the gym grew louder. Curious voices, laughter, disbelief. Some wanted a show. Some wanted a fall. Only a few understood what was actually about to happen. Lily waited by the double doors, her wheelchair gleaming under the overhead lights. She wore a hoodie 2 sizes too big and a nervous smile. "You good?" she asked. Imani nodded. "You came?" "Of course. You're doing this for both of us." Imani looked away, almost ashamed. "No," she said. "That's the thing. I think I'm doing this for me too." Lily nodded in understanding. "I used to think if I stayed small enough," Imani continued, "I could pass through this place without ever being noticed." That was the plan. And now, Imani finished tying the final knot. "Now, I'm not hiding anymore." The gym lights dimmed slightly, as if the room itself knew what was coming. Brady Larkin stood in the center of the court, stretching theatrically, flanked by his friends, like an arrogant lion surrounded by lesser hyenas. He wore a sleeveless shirt gloves, too new to be earned, and that same smug smile. When Imani stepped into the gym, something shifted. The chatter didn't stop, but it lost its rhythm. She wasn't showy, no entourage, no flair, just quiet resolve. Just her. The two faced each other. Brady cracked his neck and laughed. "Hope you stretch, sweetheart." Imani didn't reply. She stood in the center circle and waited for the gym teacher, Coach Reiner, to say something. But he didn't. Because technically, he wasn't supposed to be watching. The crowd hushed. Phones raised. Screens glowed. Lily sat by the edge hands, clenched in her lap. Brady moved first. Fast, sloppy, predictable. A hard right swing aimed at her shoulder. Imani ducked, not dramatically, but barely just enough. A shift of breath, a memory from the garage. She pivoted and tapped his side with a sharp jab, just enough to sting. The crowd gasped. Brady stumbled, surprised. "That all you got?" he snarled. She didn't answer. Because her uncle had taught her something else. You don't fight to win. You fight to remember who you are. Brady lunged again, this time faster, more reckless. He didn't expect resistance. He expected fear. But fear never showed up. Imani moved like water fluid, deliberate. She didn't need strength. She had clarity. 2 more jabs, 1 step back, then silence. Brady swung hard and missed. And in that moment of imbalance, Imani stepped in, twisted, and with 1 calculated strike swept his feet from under him. He hit the ground, not hard, not brutal, just enough. He blinked at the ceiling, confused. The crowd was dead quiet. Imani looked down at him, not with vengeance, but with something worse. Pity. She turned away, walked off the mat. No celebration, no taunt, no victory lap, just dignity. And when she reached Lily's side, the girl in the wheelchair looked up with glassy eyes and whispered, "You didn't need to win to prove anything, I know," Imani said. "But you did anyway." And somewhere in the crowd, a single phone stopped recording. Because sometimes when truth shows up unannounced, it doesn't need a filter. The clip went viral before Imani even made it home. By the time she stepped off the late bus hood over her head, hands in her pockets, her phone buzzed like a trapped bird. First came a message from a classmate she hadn't spoken to in months. "You're trending." Then another, someone posted the whole thing. 3 angles. "You're a beast." Then one more. "Sir Rivera Roundhouse is all over TikTok." She didn't open them, not yet. The sky above Edison was dark now, low and purple like a bruise. But inside her chest, a quiet warmth pulsed. Not adrenaline, not pride. Something closer to truth. She had stepped forward, and the world had noticed. The next morning at school was different. People didn't just look at her, they saw her. The same students who used to rush past now slowed. Some nodded, some smiled. A few even whispered her name like it had gained new meaning. Imani Rivera, the girl who stood up. The girl who didn't flinch. But she didn't strut. She didn't bask. She walked with the same quiet pace as before, measured, grounded. Brady. He didn't show up to school that day. Rumor was, his father had suspended him for disciplinary concerns. A few students claimed they heard him yell in the office, blaming Imani, the crowd, even the floor. But no one cared. Because something had changed. Not just the hallway. The narrative. In the cafeteria, Lily wheeled up beside Imani's table with a grin. Someone's popular. Imani raised an eyebrow. You saw it. Saw it. I watched it 5 times this morning. Lily leaned in. You looked like poetry. Imani smirked. Poetry that punches. They both laughed. Then Lily pulled out her phone. You really haven't seen this. She showed her a screenshot, 1.2 million views. 96K shares. Thousands of comments. The caption, when silence fights back and wins. Rivera vs. Larkin. Zader justice in the gym. Wheelchair witness. Imani stared at the screen, unsure whether to smile or be terrified. Then Lily added softly, They're calling you a hero. I'm not, Imani replied. I just couldn't let it slide. And that's what makes it heroic. Later that day, the unexpected happened. Coach Reiner called her into his office. She knocked twice, uncertain. Come in. He sat behind his desk, eyes fixed on a printed email. He didn't look angry, just thoughtful. You know, when I first saw the footage, he said slowly, I thought, that's it. She's getting expelled. Imani tensed. But then I watched again, and again, and I realized you weren't fighting to hurt anyone. You were defending something. He pushed a paper across the desk. She glanced down. It was an invitation. State Youth Boxing Showcase, Regional Qualifier, sponsored by the YMCA. Wait, I'm not even registered. We made a few calls, he said. The organizers saw the video. They're interested. Imani blinked. But I'm not a boxer. Coach leaned back. Could have fooled me. As she left his office, heart pounding, she passed a group of freshmen gathered around a phone. They weren't watching memes. They were watching her. Again. But this time she didn't feel watched. She felt witnessed. And it was different. That night, when she lay in bed, the room silent, her phone buzzed once more. This time it was a comment on the original video, one buried under thousands. It read, I wish someone like you had stood up for me in high school. Maybe then I would have believed I was worth it. Imani read it twice, and for the first time in a long while, a tear slid down her cheek, not from pain, but from the quiet knowing that sometimes doing the right thing doesn't echo in applause. It echoes in someone finally feeling seen. The boxing gym smelled like old leather and dusted chalk. It wasn't glamorous, no flashing lights, no crowd screaming names, just squeaky shoes, the dull thud of gloves meeting pads, breath and rhythm. Imani stood in front of the mirror, lacing up her gloves, black and worn. Lily sat nearby, still in her wheelchair now, with a notepad in her lap and a stopwatch in hand. Coach Reiner called her assistant manager, though Lily had taken to calling herself fight coordinator. Either way, she was there. Always. You ready, Lily asked. Imani nodded, as I'll ever be. Lily smiled. Then let's go remind them. The Regional Youth Showcase was small but serious. No flashy ring girls or pyrotechnics. Just sweat skill and silence between punches. When Imani stepped into the ring, her opponent, taller built from a private academy, grinned slightly, thinking he already knew the ending. He didn't. Because Imani didn't fight for show. She fought with intention, with breath, with memory, with Lily's voice in her ear from the corner yelling, "Center, breathe, stay light." And in the final round, when her opponent's guard dropped for half a second, Imani stepped through and landed one clean shot. Not wild, not brutal, just true. She didn't win the trophy. She placed second. But when the crowd applauded, not politely, but with real respect, Imani knew something had shifted again. Not just in the ring. In her. Weeks passed. Brady never returned to Edison High. His family moved out of town quietly. No statements, no apologies, just absence. Some said he was sent to a private discipline school. Others said he was banned from school athletics entirely. But no one whispered about Imani anymore. They talked to her, listened, asked for advice, invited her to speak at student meetings. And Lily submitted an article to a national teen journal titled "The Day Silence Fought Back." It was published, then shared, then read on local news. Suddenly, two girls, no one saw, became a voice for hundreds who had been silenced. One day, as they sat under the big oak tree near the gym, sunlight filtering through in golden beams, Lily looked up. "You know," she said, "there's this platform online for young creators. People share their stories, their truth." Imani raised an eyebrow. And I think we should tell ours." Imani hesitated. "What if nobody listens?" Lily looked her dead in the eyes. "They already are, so they did." Together they uploaded their first video. Not flashy. Just a single camera, 2 chairs, and a story, their story. And at the end of the video, Lily smiled and added softly, "If you've ever been pushed down, if you've ever been told you're not enough, or if you've ever had to be brave in silence, then maybe you're one of us. Like, comment, subscribe if this made you feel seen. We see you, and we're not backing down." The screen faded to black. But somewhere across phones and laptops and quiet bedrooms around the world, a girl in a chair, a girl in gloves, and a truth too loud to ignore were just getting started.